Hey everyone, here we have a breakdown of a free bootleg that is available on my SoundCloud. It's of Nina Kraviz, Ghetto Kraviz. I think the original come out in about 2012. Don't quote me on that. I haven't looked it up. I'm just guessing. The actual vocal and the track was actually, the first version that I heard was an Amin Edge and Dance bootleg, which pretty much did the rounds back in the day. And yeah, I was going through some old tracks and that probably a couple of months ago, and I come across that again and thought, oh, I'd like to have a play with that vocal. Found the vocal on YouTube, downloaded it, and here's the result. So I'll dive in, give you a little bit of a flavour of the track first.
Summer's gonna have come home, summer's gonna have come home, spring in down, spring.
Bit of a bassy rolling number. Jump a bit forward to when the vocals first come in.
Summer's gonna have come home, summer's gonna have come home, spring in down, spring.
I think you get the vibe. I'm going to jump down to the breakdown where we've got a little bit of an organy sort of lead going on. And then we'll jump to that second drop where I've gone really nutty on it. Cool, right, so I'm going to jump into the breakdown on it. Let me just make everything slightly bigger, easier to see. Now, this version of the project is, say, like the final version. Something I like to do when I'm getting my ideas together is create the jam. Once I'm happy, I'll save it, resave it then, and then probably go into, say, the arrangement sort of section. When I'm happy with the arrangement, save it, resave it again, bounce everything down to audio, just so to stop faffing about, I guess. And then I'll go into the mix. I guess when it's just playing audio, it's a lot less strain on your CPU, and it's almost that mentality as well. Just get into it, mix it, move on, bounce it, etc. But yeah, so this is like the final stage of it, and we'll go through each channel individually. Starting off here, let me just get a bit of a loop around this section because it seems a pretty active section, yeah. So on the kick drum, solo it. Here we're starting off with a utility, which how I'm using it is just turn these off. If I turn that off there, you can see it's a lot more stereo and that there, which isn't necessarily a problem. But in this case, what I've done is I haven't used the utility to mono the signal. As you can see here, if we just go around to the session view or mixer view, you can see it's leaning a little bit more to the right. Again, not necessarily that's a problem, but I've just used the utility to focus on the right side, which, it has kind of balanced the left and right signal, but it hasn't necessarily monoed it. See if we mono. Oh, let's go back to stereo. See, you're getting a different result there from monoing it to just focusing on that right side. Then I've got a clipper, which is literally, if you can see that, just sitting right on the top of that signal. And then the Pro Q4, which has got a cut off. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. A cut off there at 36 hertz and a little bit of a dip in this section. Let's take that off. And a little bit of a boost there, roughly you can see around about 4,000 hertz. But the dip or the cut would have been, I guess, in context to the bass. Let's take it off. Yeah, it's just tidying it up. Right, we'll work down through the channels. Next, I've got the drum. Let's move on to the drum group, which, if we turn it on first, I've got another clipper as well, which is, it doesn't actually even look like it's doing anything there. Let's have a look. Probably even just in case we've got any sort of peaks. As you can see, it's just sitting on top of it. Then we've got a saturator. Let's turn that off and on. Well, actually, let's turn everything off and on so you can get a bit of a comparison. Yeah, you can hear that's just brightening it up. There's loads of different saturators. The best thing to do really is just try one. If you're happy with the result, go with it. Best not to overthink the process. You can hear that there. That's quite nice. One here with the Alex P. I do like this mix head. It's definitely one that I do definitely test out. Another one I like is the Black Box, which is by Plugin Alliance. Then I've got a Soothe here just on the Tame hi-hats preset. You can see there what it's doing. Should we turn it off? Just smoothing them off. Smoothing them with the Soothe. And then the Endless Smile. The Endless Smile, made by Dada Life, same people who make the sausage flattener, the infamous sausage flattener. Now the Endless Smile is just a nice option for like build-ups. If we have a look at the automation screen, you can see that there, yeah. Yeah, really easy, simple. As you can say, it's like one knob, and you just flick through the different presets. Where were we? No limit. Just turn that automation back on. The clap, nothing on the clap at all. But to be honest with that clap was actually a couple different claps, all then made up. Yeah. Oh. Hear that? That's the delay on the return, what we'll get onto. Should we open these up a little bit? What have we got here? Just sending it to some clap. Yeah, that's a couple of different claps, and I've just bounced them all down into one easy to manage piece of audio. And that is there going to the drum, what I'm using for the drum reverb, which, as you can see here, is an EQ8, cutting off everything below 500 hertz-ish. And then reasonably decent pre-delay there, as you can see, is 10 milliseconds and a really short decay time, giving that sort of forefront sort of feel. That's it. Next, onto the hats. On the group, we've just got the Marg. I don't really know how to pronounce that properly, so I'm just going to say Marg. And all it's doing there is boosting some of that air frequency. As you can see, 40 hertz. Now, apparently the human ear can only pick up between 20 hertz and 20,000 hertz. But that definitely does something. You know, it's just giving that sparkle as well to it. What else is going on in here? We've got... No. The hi-hat. We've got there a little bit of a cut at 90 hertz ish, and the soften. Siri doing? Siri, no. Yeah, so we've got the standard hat there, little bit of the, this is almost like a version like of the Soothe, but by Sonox and Focus, right, as you can see there. Got it on the mix bus setting, and it's just getting rid of some of those harsh frequencies. Further down, another hi-hat, nothing on that channel. Just sending it a little bit to that drum reverb. Hat on the 8. Tick, 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 tick. What have we got on there? A little bit of a dip here in this sort of low mids range. The track spacer, which is, because it's actually hitting on the kick, I've put a bit of a side chain on it there. Just in these lower frequencies. And then a bit of a panning going across there. You can see just on one half measurement, half a beat measurement. Give it a bit of movement. Yeah. What we've got here, open hat, coming every so. And that's going to the drum verb, and what I've got here is a room verb. So what you can hear here, you can see I've got 2 reverbs. The drums represent like close up, and see the room represents much of a further back, because obviously the space I'm trying to create together, the drums feel more in the forefront, and I've used the Valhalla room. There you can see the pre-delay is less, but the decay is higher. And what have I cut off there? 300 hertz and more off the top there, going down to 1400, 14,000 even. The ride cymbal, where's that going? I'm going to have to turn that off for the minute because it's just not really helping, is it? We'll get onto that so you can see what it's doing. But you can hear what it's doing anyway because it keeps doing it every couple of minutes. So with an EQA, we just give it a bit of a dip there. Let's see why. Bit of a resonant frequency. Again, the soften, which is just removing some of these fatiguing frequencies again. Glue compressor, which is acting as a side chain off the kick. Let's take that off. It's actually boosting the volume as well, isn't it? But just gives it more of a rhythm. And then the house, I don't know how to pronounce that, house effect, which is just like a widening effect. So if you turn it off, you can get that kind of effect with many different things. I mean, this is why the kilohertz is really simple. Just drop it on and then you can just affect. I don't even think I'd have even changed anything there, but you can replicate that effect by using Ableton's delay. Next down, we've got standard rim shot. You can see there just dipping some resonant frequencies. And the overdrive, just to give it a bit more probably volume and fatness. Let's take it off. Yeah. Snare build. And then a crash. What have we done with the crash? What have I done even? Sent it to anything. Little bit of the same, the drum reverb. And I've used a dynamic choice here with the Pro Q, which acts as almost like a de-esser sort of thing. Down to the bass on the channel. What have we got here? We've got a limiter, which isn't doing any sort of volume. If I look, see that there, it's actually set to the ratio is like 1:1, which means it's not boosting any volume or anything. See, if I turn it up, it's not going to change the volume at all. Just using it to catch any peaks. I imagine at any point, yeah, as you see, I'm sure there's a little bit of a. Was it? Did I see things move? Well, it's there to catch any peaks anyway. But it's not actually limiting anything until I imagine like anything goes over that threshold. The Pro QC or the Pro C even, I've used this for the sidechain effects. Now, there's loads of different tools you can use for sidechaining. You can use Ableton's compressor, you can use most compressors as a sidechain, you can use the track spacer, and the only thing that's really going to differ is the character. Now, the reason I'd have gone with this is probably as more of an aggressive sort of sidechain. I've used the pumping feature here, option, which if we go to clean, see it's much more aggressive, and that would have been the choice for this track. And then what have I used here? I've put some reverb on the bass, very little amount here, and if you turn it off, you know, very tiny amount. It's just with a pre-delay boost, and as you can see the decay times there are like 1 second. Cut off everything below 90 hertz anyway. It's just giving that almost like that extra layer. What we've got in here, we've got, okay, so what I've done here with the bass is I've split the bass into two. So this top bit is going to be the sub, and then that is more of the top of the bass. Just gives you more control over it then. And then what I've also done as well is I've got the Omnisphere preset, so you can see where the sound come from. I don't know why this keeps doing this. Watch this. It's like it's got a mind of its own. Well, that is it. It's alright. It's mad this preset is, because for some reason when it's it'll just change itself. So that was probably one of the reasons why I ended up changing it to like audio immediately anyway. But that's where it's from. And then I've split it into two. Further down we've got a layer. That's just sitting on top of the bass. Not sure what I used to create that. Sounds like a synth. As you can see here with the EQ, just giving it a bit of a dip in those low mids. A bit of compression and expansion. Let's turn that off and on and see what difference we're getting. You can see it's really expanding it well, isn't it? It's bringing out some nice frequencies. Little bit of movement there with the panner and the LFO tool. Love the LFO tool. So easy to just shape a sound how you want. What we got going on next? We've got some bass hits. What's on the group? Bit of compression. This here, we've got a shaper box. There's the audio. So I have actually got the preset or the synth that I used for this as well, so you can see where that's from. So the Serum, it'd have been a sound that I've created. Now that's just the LFO, which is controlling here. What's this? Modular warp sync. Change that to that there, and it's controlling the filter, which then the LFO is then being modulated by the envelope, which is giving, as you can see here, look, when you click on the envelope, you can see it starts off fast and then it goes slower. There. And then, is there any effects on it? Just some distortion, which then goes into the sausage fattener. Turn that off. We turn off everything to what it does. It's almost like that's just limiting it more than anything. Then the decapitator, which has got quite a lot of drive and punish, but, well, it's more the punish that's giving it, or the saturation. But as you can see here, the mix is turned right down, so we're only getting a little flavour. That there. Pro Q4, cutting off everything below 30 hertz ish and dipping those low mids. And then the limiter, just limiting it all. Yeah, and then obviously bounce to audio, where the shaper box. See if you just use the shaper box in this time for that sort of, for that that side chaining effect. Next, what we got down here. And what have I used? What did I create that with? So that's how it started. And then the spectral resonator being automated, which is giving it that pitch down effect. And then Arturia's M12 filter. I love this filter. It's got some great presets in it. I use this loads. And that's just a cut off we've used there. We've automated. Next, in line, we've got the... That's just giving it a bit of a push. And that's being sent to the room verb. I've also got a hall verb on there as well. So you can see the three of them all together are building like one space. So you've got like what's close to you and what's furthest away. And I've used the UAD lexicon reverb for that one. Cut off about look, as you can see there, 220 hertz. More off the top though, going down to almost 8,000. So this is going to both. And also it's going down to the micro shift as well, which I'm using just for some width. So it sounds like the bass is... Yeah, the bass. I guess the top of the bass would be going to that. Is it? Let's have a look. Where are we? There. Let's have a look. Yeah. I don't think I'd have sent the bottom. Is that going to open? It's going to allow me to open it. Come on. Catch it. Yes. Yeah, no, the bottom isn't. But the top is. Off and on. Bit further down here, what we've got going on. Sounds like a synth, that does, doesn't it, really? Bit of a sine wave. What we got going on here, we used the vertigo for the saturation this time. Let's turn everything off. Yeah, that had some nice harmonics. That would have probably just been the standard preset, just dropped it on, like what it sounded like, gone with it. Cutting off below 90 hertz and a bit of a dip there in the low mids. Oh, it's not. Oh, yeah. Low mids again. And then the Oxford Dynamics for some compression. You can see there, it's just sitting on top and just catching those peaks. And where's that going? Yep, going to the room and the hall reverb. And also going to the micro shift for that extra width. Further down here, we've got this electric-y sort of sound. Should close some of those because we've finished with those, haven't we? Guess I'm involving you in the conversation as well. Yep, so what have I got on there? So I've got the buckler underneath, so I'll show you how that sound was made. Just like some mad electric sort of feel, isn't it? It's like when you listen to it in context, it's just... couldn't tell you. Couldn't even tell you why. So let's have a look at where we got it from. The buckler. Here. Love this synth. You've probably seen if you've watched any of the other videos, like I've used this before. Just a crazy synth. It's just really good for getting those obscure mental sounds. Going into the Pro Q4, which I believe is automated. Yes. Let's have a look at some of the automation on there. Yeah, what is that? Band 1. So that's just the low frequency. Is it? Yeah. So that's doing more than anything. And then this RX90. I don't even, it's like a filter this is, but it's got this audio bandwidth, like, and it's like, turn it off. It just brightens everything. Just like it. And then I'm using the tremolo. I don't even know, tremolo effect on here, which is giving it almost like that side chainy. Look, you can see what it's doing. Let's get wild with it. And then it's been bounced down to audio, where it's got some more EQing, bit of a low cut and a dip again in the mids, some compression. Again, just controlling them peaks. Harrison. Ooh. Gone with a Harrison this time for like some tape saturation. Back guns. And then the soften, which, yeah, you can see it's doing quite a lot, isn't it, really? If you take that off, it might be some half. Just softening the sound, I guess. Like it says on the tin. And then this here, so what I'm using, because obviously those frequencies, you know, as you can see here, like that's taking up a lot of the space where the vocal is. So I've sidechained the Pro Q4 off the vocal, and that means it's only triggering when the vocal hits and just pushing it out of the way. Just so the vocal's more clean. Let's take this off. What we got next? Yeah. Oops. I'm opening it or close it. Okay, this is... See, what I've taken there is that crazy ass white noisy electric sort of sound and just made a bit of a rhythm with it. Just for that last drop. And then I've actually shown you how I've created that as well, which is with the LFO tool, because the LFO tool is everything in that. Obviously, you can hear there's some processing after. Let me just turn that down. That's a bit in your face, isn't it? So this is automated to come off and on. Now, if we turn the LFO there. So if I turn off the LFO tool, see the LFO tool is everything in that. That is the complete rhythm. Yeah. Again, you can see why I love that LFO tool so much. So it actually sounds like there's a lot more process. Actually, do you know what? I know what I did to that. I used the decapitator, and then I turned the decapitator's tone right down to the left to get rid of all those harsh high frequencies. And then an EQ8 and some more compression. Sounds like it's squeezing it. Yep, let's turn that off. So those are done there. What we've got next, we've got the organ. So this is for the breakdown. And that was just the Serum preset, that was. Organ preset. And I've gone with the shaper box for some side chaining. And then the track spacer for some double side chaining. Let's see, listen. If we listen to it on its own. See. when they're together, he's actually getting an effect without them. We're like, together, they're giving an effect what either of them on their own couldn't give. String. What's on that? Nothing. Next, we've got the effects group. Now, the effects is just standard stuff, really. Just like downs, and look what they're called, down lifter, and then uplifters with the LFO tool on it, and they're just grouped. That's just for an overall sort of control. Then down to the vocal group, where we've got the Pro L, which is just to catch any peaks. Yeah, as you can see there. Again, on that 1-to-1 setting, so it's not actually boosting anything volume-wise. And the track spacer, which is just giving that overall bounce to the vocals. Vocal main, Pro Q4, which is just cutting off everything below 100 hertz and some compression. And then we've got, what's this doing here? Bit of a reverse before the before the vocal hits. Just to introduce it. Summer's gonna have come cold. Summer's gonna have come cold. Summer's gonna have come cold. Summer's gonna. Yep, next we got the vocal main. Just more EQing again. Oh, bit of dynamic EQing going on this one. Controlling some of those resonant frequencies. Bit more compression. And another track spacer. This time, it's actually sidechained off. Is there a set? It must be for there, yeah. When they play together. Yeah, that's just sidechained off that one. Yeah. Trying to give them a bit more space. And then what we got down here? Yeah, just introduce. Way of introducing it. And the soothe on that one there. Yeah, clean up a little vocal harshness preset. Nice and simple. And then what we got down here? Ooh. Bit of EQing. And more dynamic EQing, and that really going on. Yeah. And that's it. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, I'll show you what that thing kept going off earlier. So, let's have a look. It is the delay tape, which is just the Roland echo chamber clone Arturias. Oh, and that's what's going on. Let's just hear it on its own. Love using it like that. And what have we got here on the return channels? Oh, yeah, off it goes again. If I press there, look. And in context, we need to get it first, don't we? Right, and down here we've got some parallel compression, Let's have a listen to that. Gosh, sounds like I've sent the drums and the vocals to it. So what I'm using there is some saturation first. Let's turn that one off. And then the 1176, which has got all the ratios pushed down by holding down shift. I'm slamming it. We look like we're bouncing around about 10. Yeah, 10 decibels of gain reduction. Attack, just letting through some of those transients, and release on fastest. And then just dialed in to taste. And on the master, like this is for a pre-master, so I've put on the Oxford limiter just for volume for this. And a little bit of EQing beforehand. Yeah, and that's it really. And there, anything that you found helpful, amazing. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again for another breakdown.